doubled sales in 9 divisions, and every division, multiple divisions, doubled multiple years consecutively. That is the power of the Dream 100.
That one habit, right, changed everything about how do I do things, because I just squeeze it, when I'm working, I'm like, let's get it done today. Let's get it done today. Let's get it done today. Let's get it done now. So
increase your productivity by 500%. And I hear all the time where people say, oh my gosh, I can't believe how productive I was in this one day. Why haven't I been doing this forever?
Hey guys, welcome to Ashish Janiani. I hope you're doing super awesome and healthy wherever you are on this planet. If you are an entrepreneur and involved in sales in any capacity, as a business, a manager, or in your leadership role, you are on the right channel, because this is where you get information from the greats. And when I say greats, I mean the genuine greats who've been in the business of sales, teaching, coaching, and helping genuine companies across the world expand their revenues, which you can measure. And today's guest is amazing because of the meaningful and transformational journey that she's taken from being a singer at the age of 24 to taking her dad's business over, which was started in 1991. It's been in business. Imagine a coaching company in business for 30 years when we shoot this 2021. When you see this, is that it has helped 240,000 different businesses, 240,000 businesses around the world expand their sales. And the reason I say beautiful and meaningful is because it's beautiful what she's done to this company, taking it further in the last 7 years. And it's so meaningful, when you speak from a perspective of her dad looking at it from the heavens, if you believe in that. I'm talking about Amanda Holmes, the daughter of the great Chet Holmes, who runs the organization Chet Holmes International. Chet Holmes was a great sales coach who unexpectedly passed away, and he had written a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. You will hear some stories which are outstanding. And I believe that if you don't get your hands on any other book and you just pick up this one book and the tough part for you would be when you go through the interview is to believe that this one book is actually enough for you to expand, to bloat your sales. I get the point that, we should continue to learn. That's a human tendency, including me. But from a perspective of results, revenues, numbers, this is a proven sales book. And that's what Amanda and I will be speaking about today when you go through this interview. So help me welcome Amanda Holmes on Ashish Janiani.
Amanda, I'm super excited. Just the whole experience that I've gone through studying Chet Holmes, the website, the content that you have, and your own story. But because we focus a lot on sales, it's the favorite subject that my audience has and I have when it comes to business. I want to actually start with sales. There we go. Can you turn it around? Because the ultimate sales machine, right? And I want to get some insights into that, right? Crazy. So I want to actually start with that you just showed me. And I got a little secret, right? Somebody gave me a hint that I should ask you about the Dream 100 technique. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I'm curious, like the Dream 100, it sounds like I can get a lot done very fast if I just apply this. So tell me about what is Dream 100, and let's just deep dive down into the book and we'll come to you and the business.
Yes, of course. The Dream 100 is actually our methodology for having the fastest, least expensive way to double your sales in 12 months flat. So we've done it every size company all around the world in every industry. And so for every business, there's always a smaller amount of better buyers, those ones that buy more from you. Take an example. Is your business sales training? What's your business?
Yeah, that's what we do. We do sales trainings for entrepreneurs to corporates.
Okay, so if you, let's say an average client is maybe a $4,000 purchase, but a huge client, a consulting client of a Fortune 500, let's say, is $100,000. So that would be a Dream 100 client for you, would be that $100,000 consulting package, something similar. So if we focus just, let's say we picked 100 of those dream buyers for you, and just went after them, the good news is it's way cheaper than going after everyone, right? If you were to spend your time, money, and efforts to go after, let's say, 200,000 businesses, and instead only laser focused on those few, it would be a radical difference. And we've found that it's a much quicker way to double sales. So my father did about 30 years ago. He realized this. He was working for a newspaper, and they gave him a list of 1,000 contacts and said, cold call all these and try to win some business. And he realized after he did research on those 2,000, only 67,000 purchased 95% of the advertising space.
Wow, how much percentage is that? You said 67 out of 2,000, right?
Yeah.
So that's about like 5%, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. 95% of revenues. Crazy. Okay.
So instead of cold calling and spending all of his time on 2,000 trying to find a way, he zeroed in on those 7. And at that time, he was doing direct mail and cold calling. So the secret to effectively getting a Dream 100 to work is if you persistently reach out on a regular basis for a long period of time, or however long it takes to get that appointment to the client. So on every Tuesday, he was sending out and then on Thursday, he was following up with a phone call. Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday. So the first 3 months, they got not one client. Now the office started to talk, this guy is an expert at sales. What sales has he generated? After, in their 6th month, my largest contract that this industry had ever seen. He brought zero into newspaper advertising, and they did a 23-page spread. It was huge. And then that same month, 28 more of those Dream 100. They doubled sales.
Because those guys converted later on.
Yep. So they doubled sales in their 6th month. From nothing to 6 months, they closed 28 of their dream buyers. And then they continually kept working on the Dream 100 and doubled sales in 9 divisions. And every division, multiple divisions, doubled multiple years consecutively. That is the power of the Dream 100.
Wow. Okay. Well, now break it down for me for today. That's just amazing, right? If I'm just trying to feel what he felt at that time and what the company felt when they saw the results. They won't be like, "Oh, we were doubting this guy," and and this is what he's done.
Funny that you should say that. Actually, so he was working for a billionaire by the name of Charlie Munger. I don't know if you're familiar with Berkshire Hathaway.
Oh yeah, of course. Who's not, right? Like
right. Co-chairman's it's Warren Buffett, and then his partner is Charlie Munger. So my father was reporting to this billionaire Charlie Munger. So Charlie calls him into his office and he asks him, what? Can you tell me what's going on here? Are you lying, cheating, stealing something? I've never seen a company grow this fast over such a small period.
Wow. I'm sure he must be smiling that time, right? He must be laughing when he heard that question. Wow, that's a big thing. Okay. So like, coming back over, that's just crazy. How do you break it down for today in the social media world? How do I start doing this technique in today's world, especially with people, let's say, who don't have a lot of money? And because a lot of entrepreneurs starting in India, I'm speaking from a perspective of largely Indian entrepreneurs, and they're coming up very fast. How do they really apply this and the patience part of it? Like, can you explain the patience behind it? And you explain the consistency, and how do I do it today?
Well, you're right on point there. There's a concept that we teach called pig-headed discipline and determination.
Okay.
Pig-headed discipline and determination. That is the single most powerful thing to be able to succeed in business today. Just that one thing. If you can be pig-headed, disciplined, and determined, anything is possible. And the Dream 100 will always work. The only reason why it won't is if you lose your pig-headed discipline and determination. And majority of people do lose that determination after the 4th month. And then they don't see the results because the 5th month is when they were about to get it, right? So I'll give you an example. There's this company called ClickFunnels. I'm familiar with them, but
oh yeah, Branson.
Yeah. So Russell,
you take all these names, right? Like, who doesn't know them? Like, yeah, Russell, correct.
Russell's a big fan of ours. If you read any of his books, you'll see Dream 100 throughout his books. And he says that the way that he was able to get to 0 to 100 million in 4 years was the Dream 100 strategy. So he's a great example of that today. He went through social media to get his dream. And I actually, he was one of my Dream 100, which was funny. So he Dream 100, and then I Dream 100 him. His president. So the thing that we have to keep in mind when reaching out to our prospective clients, especially the Dream 100, is and these are all quotes from my father's, ultimate sales machine. He always said, you have to be in their face, in their place, in their space. And then you also have to be the right spot today. Forward to having interactions with you. So a wonderful friend of mine, he calls me his mentor, but he's just so lovely. Lewis, his Instagram, Law of Ambition. The way he got my attention on social media was he would perpetually come and just offer value. Every time I would post something, we first met on Periscope when Periscope was big. So so he'd show up on Periscope and he'd say, watch this. And then he'd invite all of his followers and 100 people would show up. I'm like, who is this guy? Right?
Wow.
Same thing with when I was reaching out to the people at ClickFunnels. I would just write great comments, things that showed that I cared. So every day they were posting something, and every single day for 3 months, I commented on every single post. And it was always something thoughtful. It was always something meaningful. It was always something that showed that I was paying attention, and any value I could give at any step of the way, I was continuing to do that until I didn't even have to reach out to them. That's the power of a Dream 100. That's the ultimate goal of marketing, is you want to create that TOMA, that top of mind awareness. As soon as they need a service or product like yours, you're the first one they think of. So I was the first one they thought of, and they said, hey, we're doing a book thing. Can we purchase 600 books to sell our top clients, all of our top clients? And I had to really think about
it. Wow. Okay. So now, just what you said right now, but you believe that if you followed up with him or the organization consistently, something would happen. And I'm sure you did that with multiple companies, and then you got a few of them to convert, not all of them. And the fact that you believe that some of them will see value and come back to you is where I think the whole magic lies, right?
Yes, and the repetitiveness. So something that we have 12 core competencies for doubling sales. But sales, it's not about doing 4,000 different things. It's about doing 4,000 times. Repetition is the mother of all skill. So to truly get great at it, it's to continue to repeat it. So if you've refined once, you do it again. If it works, do it again. For entrepreneurs that are on this right now, I would highly recommend just pick those few things that are most important and just drill them to make them better and better and better until it becomes mastery. That's how you get somewhere fast. It's not about doing a million different things and spreading yourself so thin.
Wow. So one last question on the sales bit of it. How important do you think, and I don't know what your answer would be, but I want to ask this, is the phone in the sales process even today? Like, is it still important in this cycle, or you can do without it?
Okay, that's a great question. So research shows that still 68% business is made on the phone, made through the phone. But
78, right? You
yeah,
said?
yeah.
Okay.
But the way that our sales has our buying process has changed. So research
Hmm.
shows that the average prospect will read 5 pieces of content before ever reaching out to a salesperson. So, can you have that dialogue online to start and then lead it onto a phone call or in person? And there's a process that has to be had online. So I'll give you another example. So years ago, the average buyer would go to 13 different car dealerships before they purchased a car. Today, they would go to 6 car dealerships before purchasing a car. Today, they go to 13 websites and 1.7
Wow. Wow.
before they purchase. So if you think of that car example as what are our buyers doing now, they're researching you. They're looking at your website. They're looking at news feed. They want to have, it's something crazy. I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say something like 94% of decisions or people want to have those conversations about online over social media, especially with their and it makes a huge difference on reviews and whatever you can do to show reviews makes a dramatic difference. So you have to think, if Amazon is dominating our commerce today, how can you duplicate your sales process to be similar to the user experience of Amazon? I'm in Missouri right now. I had a here. I'm on a board of a company called JMark. They're fantastic, one of the top 100 managed IT services companies. And they have every quarter, all of their clients have to give them, they get a review written, like, how are we doing? And they have a 96% rating of success. You have 5 out of 5 stars, 96% of the time.
Wow.
By 5,400 reviews. And when they told me that stat, I thought that should be on the front of your website. Why? Because Amazon is dictated by that review and how many people have reviewed it. So if you have that information, you should be giving them that information. So we have to think, how is the way that our user is purchasing today, how is that different? And how can I accommodate to the new buying pattern of my prospect?
Wow. Yeah. So last point on that, I'm just thinking so many things, right, that I've realized last 2 years. And even this morning, right, because this whole thing about branding and making sure that your branding is right is so important. There are so many digital marketing companies out there. And when you call them up, hey, can you help me? I've got this whole program that I'm doing. And they don't have their digital marketing sorted. So they've got 100 followers and they're like, no, we know how to do this. And then it makes me want, and there are so many of them, Amanda. So even, those guys who are into business, this message is for them that, it matters, because I may speak to you, but I will go and check everything about you before I make that purchase decision. And B, for all of us, right, that you should spend money and time on branding, because that's going to help you in selling when you make that call or you send that email. And as you said, like, I love making calls, but a lot of people are scared to. But there's a buying process behind that. And a lot of people don't have that figured out, which is why I think they give up on great products and talent, which doesn't go through the limit that it can, in terms of revenues. So good stuff. All right, good stuff. It's good. Yeah, you had a point on that.
I would also say that the power of social media today is absolutely unbelievable.
Oh,
So if you my Instagram, I'm very clear on what my goal is for Instagram, right? So I don't have a lot of followers, but what I care about is my followers are my Dream 100 followers, right? So I'm the head, I have the head of entrepreneur following me. I have, all of my dream clients that I've worked with, ones that I would like to work with. So it's CEOs of $100 million companies, 8-figure companies that are following what I'm saying and commenting. And to me, social media is all about that dialogue between me and that end user. It's a dialogue. It should be a dialogue, right? And then that leads into that sales conversation. So as I'm following my prospects, I'm doing the best I can to engage with them in a bright way, right? That's just how my father says it. You want to be a bright spot in their day. So if you can really look to that, if you're scared to have that phone conversation and start there, social media is a amazing way. And if you, my head of sales calls it circling the dragon. If you can reach them in every different social media platform, haven't you ever had that where somebody reached you on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram, and you're like, this person, who is this guy, right?
Usually I'm the guy doing that. I tell people, like, you gotta puke. Like, when I say puke, I don't mean it that way. Like, you just got, because you don't know where that guy or girl is active. So why don't you take the same message and just post it everywhere? It takes you 1 more minute, but it gives you a better chance. All right. So come back to this. You mentioned you're in Missouri and you're on a board of a great company. It brings me back to this point when I was going through your profile, and also my team told me you spend a lot of time with your guru. Okay? And the next challenge that an entrepreneur has is building a team, right? You need people to be successful, and you need to know that a lot of people will leave you. All those things will happen, and you need to keep recruiting, keep training, keep going through that process at different stages, and it's very tough. So being there and doing it is tough. Now, I think people can relate to you because a lot of them have entered the virtual world forcefully in the last 9 months. How is it like running your team virtually? Because you spend a lot of time with your guru, so you were not at office and you were in a different zone. I'm assuming you were in a different zone, right? So it's not a business zone. How is it like, and how do you do it successfully? And also talk about the challenges so that it relates to people, because I'm sure you face challenges with your team. And how have you overcome that as an entrepreneur? Like, what were you going through in your mind when those challenges happened?
Well, we've been virtual since 1996.
What?
Yes. So I used
Wow.
to have a company that taught other companies how to go virtual. So especially our whole sales process went online after 9/11. So when the world went down and we could no longer travel via, or it was much harder to travel flying, we put our whole sales process online. We were already virtual, but that was a big step. So for the last 20 years, we've been refining our whole process for marketing and sales to be a the best virtual experience. So I really myself on what we do there. We really take care of people in the best way possible through an educational approach. But you're asking about my virtual team.
So how do you manage it, right? So let's say somebody, an entrepreneur is watching this and he's got a team of 20 people or even 1 or 100, and he or she's traveling, right, in a different zone. How do you manage that consistently and how do you make it successful?
I guess there's 2 things. One would be managing one of our core competencies, which is time management. That's
okay.
To really train the team on how to be as efficient as possible. So we have a time management secrets of billionaires. My father learned it from working under Charlie Munger, and it's 6 steps that only take 15 minutes, and yet
what are those 6 steps? If you can talk about that, I'm so sorry. Can you talk about those 6 steps?
Yeah. So those 6 steps increase your productivity by 500%. And I hear all the time where people say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe how productive I was in this one day. Why haven't I been doing this forever?" So that's really cool. To go through it quickly, the first step is touch it once. So the amount of time that we spend reading an email and then saying, okay, I'll answer to that later. And then you go back and you read that email a second time. And then you read it a third time. And you're like, oh, yes, I know I have to answer this, but I haven't yet. The amount of time that we go back and back and back to information, we're actually wasting a lot of time. So it would be, the first step is just touch it once. If you touch it, you go, oh, I need that later. Respond and say, hey, this needs more time than I have allotted. Let's talk at our next meeting, or put it in a folder that says, these are things I need to answer when I have more time in my allotted schedule. So touch it once is step number 2, writing down, and you can, and whoever's listening right now, it's good to write these down so that it gets, into your. Step number 2 is make a list of the top 6 things you have.
Okay.
Then step number 3 is prioritizing which of those are most important, right? So there may be ones that are difficult, but they're still the most important, right? So really being honest with yourself about what those 6 are. I'm even looking just to make sure, because I do it every day. And then an important thing, step number 3, is allotting how much time that step will take. So what you find is you build this to-do list, and then a lot of people just check off, okay, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this. So then they feel this fake sense of because they've checked off something off of their list. So they think they've done a job. But what the 6 does is make sure that you do the things that are most important, right? And also being realistic about your day, because you may say, well, I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I'll make sure I get it done. But when you actually say, well, how much time will this take? This will take me an hour and a half. This will take me 30 minutes. This will take me 15. Oh, wait, I've only gotten through the first 3, and I've already gotten my entire day planned out, because this is going to take me, 3 hours. So making that allotted time makes a huge difference.
Okay.
And then lastly, so then what you have to put it into your schedule, right? So from 8 to 8:30, I'm going to do this. From 8:30 to 9, I'm going to do this. From 9 until 9:30, I'm going to, so you have to write your schedule. It's not just about making that top 6s. It's about building out the whole schedule so you're very clear what's happening.
I've got 5 steps, and I think I missed one. So there's touch it one. So if I touch something, I do it. Then I've got the top 6 in my list. Then I need to prioritize. I think the 4th one is calculating how much time it will take me, if that's going to happen after I prioritize.
Yeah.
And number 5 is then putting it up in my planner, which is organizing.
And then 6 is asking yourself, as you're going through your day, can I throw this away? So let's through all of your emails, and you just keep piling up all of this information. Research shows that the amount of time that we go back to old emails that are of no use to us, spend so much time here, we could have a week's vacation. So just ask yourself, can I throw this away, and let it go. Especially for physical paper, you just become a hoarder.
So I'll share a story with you, a quick story, and this is for people watching, right? Just as a friend, right? Like, because I go through this and I suffer, and then I get back, and then I get successful, then I fall, and then it happens again. So I've been like a procrastinator whole my life. When growing up, only would do those things that I really wanted to. I would eventually get those things done. So there's this whole group of people, right? I think it's a lot of us who would get the job done, but only when you really have to get it done, right? At the last moment, you get into it and you get it done. And the worst part about that was it didn't make me feel as if I was free, because it was just like, oh my God, I have to keep doing it. Until when would I do it? So at one moment in time, it just gets you of till when will you operate like that? So I would always work out. And I related this back to my exercise. And I was like, okay, between my sets, how much time am I thinking or procrastinating, when it gets tougher? So what I started doing was I started reducing the time. And I'd read a book called As Many Reps as You Can by this guy, he got these awards from the US. And his daughter, he wrote the book in 2016. His daughter went through cancer at the age of 4, and she survived it. Okay. And how, and he's won these awards. I forget the guy's name. It's silly. I think his name is Josh. He's the CrossFit guy. And as many reps as you can, in a squeezed amount of time without taking breaks. That one habit, right, changed everything about how do I do things, because I just squeeze it, when I'm working. I'm like, let's get it done today. Let's get it done today. Let's get it done today. Let's get it done now. So even after our interview, I've got two more things to do before I say, okay, I've got a weekend away. But I'm just like, let's get it done now. And it all happened because I think I started exercising. So I think there are certain habits that you can build. Like you are a singer, or you used to sing a lot, right? So if you can do it more, if you are a writer, or if you do something else, I think there's one thing, your hobby that you like. You take that hobby and you see how much better can you do that hobby without wasting time. I think it has an impact on your brain, and everything that Amanda says starts to happen, because otherwise you're faced with a lot of procrastination, which is like, it's terrible, you know. Yeah.
Huge. I mean, since I'm on with somebody that is of Indian descent, a huge thing for me is actually chanting before I start my day. Like before I got on with you, I was doing Gayatri Mantra over and over and over
Oh,
again
wow.
into the correct flow. And I'm so amazed at what chanting can do. I mean, obviously science has proved onomatopoeic language, it affects the brain in different areas. And if you can get into that repetition, it just gets your mind into a singular focus. I was with the executive team last night, and I was showing them how to ohm. They'd never ohmed before, and it
Wow.
was I do it with my Dream 100, or I do it with my Fortune 500 clients. I really feel that
Wow.
the methodology that comes from that Indian descent of, there's so much that can be learned about how to tap into a greater source, a greater intellect. So.
Wow. Wow. And I'm sure it has an impact on the rest of your day, because that repetition then eventually, over a period of months and years, it kind of like represents all aspects of your life, right? And you don't come to know, but it's happening. And I think that's the secret, right? Like that's where it is.
Even in my
Yeah.
time management, I'll put in a 15-minute break to, do Gayatri Mantra for a while. I'll play Gayatri Mantra in the middle of my day when I'm working on marketing campaigns. Real flow. I'll just have that running in the background because I know that it'll lift my intellect into a higher space. So we're working on the new edition of the Ultimate Sales Machine, which is, I'm very for that. And every time I sit down to work on like Gayatri Mantra, it's
when that one comes out, like I'm excited genuinely, because I read about the book, and what it's done. I think it's like 24 lakh businesses, which is 240,000 businesses, if I say it in the American way. But I'm sure it will add the social media and the new age chapter to it, and how artificial intelligence is coming along. But the basic of what you said, the Dream 100 philosophy, that still remains. You just need to change those other tools that you're using, but you still got to do it. So yeah, so let us know when it comes out. Okay, how would you summarize this interview? Okay, for people out there, I mean, there's so much happening in the world. I really want to help. So my message of doing these interviews is to those people who know they can do it when they sit alone, but they don't do it when they're with people. So they've got two personalities, one with themselves, and they feel other people doing it, and they're like, I can do it one day. I know I've got it in me. And then when they go out and they face the world, they just get scared. How to big, and I know that money adds a lot of power to it. It's not the only thing, but when you start making money, you start getting the confidence that you can do it, right? So for a lot of people, that proof, that financial proof is important. It's not eventual, but you need it in some capacity. How would you summarize today for that kind of a personality out there? What can they take away from today?
well, I guess what we covered, we started with the fastest, least expensive way to Dream 100 strategy. And in my own experience of going my own Dream 100, what I found is when I was truly being me, being myself, feeling comfortable with who I am, they they gravitated towards me, and the best kinds of clients gravitated towards me. Even the ones that were in my greatest dreams came to me. And so to me, the more that you raise yourself up, and I've done that, one of the ways is through chanting, right? Or studying under my guru. I think that that's crucial to being able to attract those kinds of people to you. But Dream 100 is much more about going after them and how you go after them. But I think that there's a spiritual of attracting them as well. And then we also spoke to the time management secrets of billionaires, right? The 6 steps that it to be able to increase your productivity by 500% in one day. It just takes minutes, right? Great time management shouldn't take a lot of time. So you can be diligent. If you can use that pig-headed discipline and determination to be diligent about your 6 steps, and it makes a radical difference, because majority of people are making, let's say that somebody's making 10 times more money than you. It's not because they have more than 24 hours in a day. They have the same amount of time. It's just that they're smarter about their time. So how about your time, right? A billionaire doesn't have 48 hours in a day and you only have 24, right? They have the same amount of time. Smarter about it. So those 2 things. And then I just always add that I think it's crucial, this journey of yourself, that self-realization piece. I'm a big fan. I love chanting. I never do these things because I'm not.
I'm guessing you've traveled to India a lot, right?
I haven't. I've just lived in and out of my guru's ashram for many years. So the journey of Arjuna is such a great example of just, realization is so crucial to being able to feel that fulfilled life. So I think that understanding of yourself makes all of what you do professionally worth it. Yeah.
Wow. And when you come to India, I'm sure you will see that we have this. When you have those things and you don't use it, that's how the Gita is for us. People have it, but they don't use it. And they know meditation's important, but they don't do it in that capacity, because it's more like a 5-minute prayer in the morning and they think I'm doing it, but it's not like that. You got to go deep into it. And I think that just happens with a lot of civilizations. When you have it, you don't understand the importance of that. When you come in, you'll be shocked that you may be way ahead of a lot of Indians when it comes to spirituality and utilizing this stuff. And you're most welcome. Anytime you're here, I'm sure you will get a lot of love from India whenever you're here. Amanda, I really want to say thanks. It means a lot. Because we did it really fast when we contacted each other. B, the insights what you gave, I'm just adding it to my whole knowledge base. What I'm taking away is Russell's example of what you said, that you followed up with him for 3 months, believing that something will happen. And I've not done that, right? I'm more like, okay, pick up the call, get it done. I get the value part of it of 80-20, but I don't get the patience part of it, which is why I asked you that question. So I'm going to do that because I think it's going to make a lot of difference to us, because we did well in COVID and before that, and we are growing at a good pace. But I always think that we can go to the next level and we can do a lot more, and these things help. And everything that you said about time management, it just re-emphasizes for me, that why am I so busy? like I can get it done, properly if I pay more attention to it. So it takes me back to my exercise. So I want to say thank you, and I'm sure these guys have, taken a lot, and I know it's going to help people. I just want you to know that it's going to help people out there. And that's why we do these sessions. So thanks a lot. I don't know how to say it anywhere else, but really means a lot you coming and doing this. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So I'll keep you posted. And guys, please take all this information and use it, because that's where you get things done. Yeah.
If anybody needs a little bit more depth, we actually give the chapter 4 away for free. If you go to chetholmes.com, it should pop up, download chapter 4 for free, or you can type it into Google, chapter 4 of Ultimate Sales Machine. And that goes into how to get 9 times more impact from every move you make. It's a really great chapter. So
So in fact, tell me about, like this whole thing. Your book is there in India, which I'm sure you know, right? Like it's there, so they can get the chapter 4. What else? Where else can they find information about the book, you, and all these concepts that we discussed? What is the best way to like kind of find all these things?
Yeah, I'd recommend going to our website, chetholmes.com. And there I have a 3-video series that teaches you how to 10x your income in 1 hour a week. So that's videos, and then you join our emails, and every so often, about once a week, we send different blog posts that are educational, different video content that's educational. So we're very educational about all of the different core competencies for doubling sales.
Wow, got it. And are you active on LinkedIn, or are you more active from the website?
We're most active on email, but you can also follow me and my company on Instagram. Ultimate Sales Machine is our company, and I'm Amanda Holmes.
Yes, and we have you over here, so I'll make sure they know about that. Great. All right, we'll do that. Well, I'm going to do that, and I'm sure a lot of guys will. Thank you so much, Amanda. You have a great time over there. Enjoy yourself, and I'll stay in touch with you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.